Hello, welcome to the Executive Mom Show. Today I am giving you the scoop on chapter 7 of The Secret because the message in this book is so fantastic and you do not have time to read this book. You should watch it on Netflix, but if you don't have time for that either, I'm just going to give you the quick scoop and this will help you get everything you want. Here we go. Welcome to the Executive Mom Show. Here are the 6 key points in chapter 7 that I took away. So I've read this book multiple times and these are just my key takeaways. So this chapter is The Secret to Health, which if you really think about it, health is everything. Let me hold the microphone. Health is really everything. If you think about it, when you're sick and not feeling well, you can't do your job well. You might not even be able to get out of bed. You sure can't be a great mom because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your children. Health really should be top priority for everyone. And I do believe sometimes we take it for granted and just, put it to the side. We don't think about it, but really your body is your whole entire vessel. I think of myself, this is really silly, but I'm just going to share it anyway. I think of myself as an athlete, even though I have absolutely no athletic ability whatsoever. I can do ballet and that's about it. And I'm great at yoga and I can stretch. I can do those things, but I pretend that I am an athlete and my body is super important in order for me to do the work that I want to do. So I have that mindset and I think it serves me well because it's number one in the morning. First thing I do is I wake up and I stretch, do some sort of a yoga, ballet, some sort of a light workout, nothing strenuous or unpleasant. I don't do anything that's not pleasant. My warm up is really pleasant and I enjoy it and I look forward to it every day. Therefore, I do it every day. So that might be this is not tip number 1, but big picture number 1, get yourself on some health program that is enjoyable, brings you energy, makes you happy, and you will stick to it. So shift that mindset to my health is my number 1 top priority. I can't help anyone else until I really help myself. So the really number 1 key point, that really was my key point actually. I'm changing this. There's going to be 7 tips for chapter 7. So that was going to be number 1 is just your body. You are the athlete. Your body is your number 1 top priority. That's not actually in the book. So you're getting the secret according to Katie today as well. So the second thing is really the placebo effect. Just you need to understand that the placebo effect is actually quite useful. So in scientific studies, they have found that the placebo sometimes has the same effect, if not a greater effect than the actual medication. And they have found that really the human mind is the biggest factor in healing. I have a creepy story. I have a really creepy story, but I'm going to share it. My grandmother, when she was very old, she's passed away. But she was lovely and I really miss her. But she got to a point where she was done. She was just ready to go on. She was done. Nothing was wrong with her medically. It was really interesting. But in her mind, she had had enough and she was just done. And she did pass away and it was peaceful, but it was quick. And I think in her mind, it was really weird because again, there was nothing wrong with her. She was in the hospital and they're like, she's going, but like nothing's wrong. And she wasn't that old. If I recall correctly, she was in her 80s, which is not that old. So the mind plays a huge role. Now, her husband, my grandfather, is going to be 95 and he does yoga every day and he is not done. He is not done. He is happening and he is so smart and just keeps it all going. And I'm very much inspired by him, but his mindset was the opposite of my grandmother's. And so, he's still here. He's still kicking and he's in my opinion, he's going to make it to 100 for sure. So I'm lucky for that. So bringing it back, you know, what your mindset believes is really the outcome that you're going to get. So number 3, this is focusing on perfect health is something we can do within ourselves regardless of what's happening on the outside. There are terrible things happening in the world. It is awful. The news is quite depressing because all these things are happening and we need to make some big changes in the world. There are some things you can control and you can for sure help. But the one thing you can control every single day is your own body. You are in control of it. And as an adult, you have the most control. Kids can't always control, you know, what's being served for breakfast or lunch, but you have complete control over it. So take control and be grateful that you have the control and really know that this is something that you can do no matter what is happening in your life. So having that kind of that empowerment hopefully will motivate you to do the right thing. And only you know what's right for your body. I'm not going to sit here and preach some diet because I've tried them all. And you know what? Certain things work better for me than others. And it's probably not what's going to work for you. You need to find out exactly what's going to work out for you. And it's worth you finding the time to do so. So number 4 is all about laughter. There is an interesting statistic that made me a little sad. So the average 4-year-old laughs 300 times a day, and the average 40-year-old laughs only 4 times a day. That's a bummer. Isn't laughing so fun? Oh my gosh. When you get a good laugh and something is just hilarious, it's just like the best feeling ever. And it's good for your abs. You're going to get some 6-packs. If you could just laugh a little bit longer, you're going to get a 6-pack. So think about that and figure out ways to add laughter into your day. My personal favorite way involves my kids because they laugh all the time anyway. And so sometimes what they do isn't really funny. It's kind of annoying, actually. However, every once in a while, something they do is hilarious, and I will just stop everything and just really get into it. And when you get to that point where you're laughing because you're laughing, and then you can't stop laughing, and then you try to stop laughing, that is the ultimate best. And my goal is for that to happen once a day. It doesn't always happen once a day because, you know, it's hard. Not everything's that funny. But make little laughter goals for yourself, especially in the workplace. Oh my gosh, do this in the workplace. We are so serious at work. It is just exhausting how serious everyone is at work. And obviously don't make inappropriate jokes. That's not fun. But hilarious things happen in the workplace. I make hilarious mistakes and I will just stop and enjoy that moment because it's so funny, and you can really lighten up a mood, and it helps you develop deeper team bonds. So if something happens, go with it. Just kind of go with it and laugh, and your laughter is contagious. Other people start thinking it's really funny too, and then it's just great all around, and it just serotonin really flies up through the roof with that laughter. So don't forget about that. Okay, number 5. This is about disease is held in the body by thought, by observation of the illness, and by all the attention given to the illness. So let me simplify that. Attention is powerful. So if you're paying attention to this illness, you're going to feel worse. This is really true. Again, I relate a lot of things to my kids because they're so open and so impressionable. But my daughter was really sick the other week. It wasn't COVID. It was just she ate something and it didn't go well with her. And the poor thing was really sick for 2 days. And she loves the sympathy, and it's, you know, it's nice when someone is sympathizing with you. No, you poor thing. And we take care of her. And she definitely got a lot of attention. But she wasn't getting any better. The more attention I gave her, the more sick she was for the longer period of time. So after the second day, and I'm aware of all these things. And frankly, I love having a sick child. Not really. It's terrible. You're up all night. That part is absolutely terrible. But it's kind of nice to have a sweet little baby who wants to snuggle and is not running around screaming. They're quiet and little sleepy and sweet. So I kind of like the sick child thing. So I just milk it until I'm sick of it. So after 2 days, I was kind of sick of it. I was like, okay, the girl needs to go back to school now. And she was definitely better. So suddenly when I stopped with this, your sick thing, she's better and she's running around and she was her normal self. So if you do that for yourself, if you focus on how sick you are and how you're recovering, you're going to continue to be sick. Whereas when I feel a cold coming on, I try to do a little mental trick. I will take something because I think it's probably the placebo. I will take a cough drop, or I will take Sudafed is my favorite because it also takes away your appetite, just so y'all know. So I will take a Sudafed, and then in my mind, I will say, oh, it's the beginning of this cold, and I can stop it. I can fix it before I actually get a cold. And then I show up to work. I show up to everything. If I'm obviously really contagious, going to get other people sick, I won't do that. But I just pretend that I am not sick and I am not getting sick. And then sometimes I don't get sick. It's a fantastic little trick. So give it a go. Go for the Sudafed. I wish I had it here with me. That stuff is good. Makes me alert and feel much better. The other thing too, this is kind of a bummer, still related to number 5. If you listen to people talk about their illness, you add energy to their illness. So this is tricky because you don't want to be completely rude. If someone's sick and they want to talk about it, they might need someone to just listen. But maybe be aware of this and maybe don't focus so much on it and peppering them with questions. Don't do that. I would shift the conversation to something else that they would be interested in talking about to kind of get their mind off of this. So that's something you can do. All right, so we're going to move on to number 6. Beliefs about aging are in our minds, and we should release those thoughts. I love this one. This is interesting. So I'm in my mid-30s. I feel exactly the same as I did when I was 17. I remember 17, I had a job. I was just graduating high school, going to college. I remember all of it, and I feel exactly the same as I did then. I'm a lot wiser because I've had many more experiences, but it's interesting to me when I hit 40 and 50 and 60. It will be so interesting to me that, oh my, I'm an older adult. I'm a more mature adult because I really still feel just like that 17-year-old girl. And the mindset I'm choosing to take is getting old is cool, because what's the alternative? The alternative is not so great. You're gone. Hopefully we all go to heaven, but I'm not totally ready. So every single year is a success. And really thinking, every single birthday for me, every year has been better. When I look back on the last year, this year is better. And I have had that consistent my entire life. 18 was better than 17. 19 was better than 18. And I can say that every single year has been better. There's definitely been harder years where a lot more was happening, but I would never want to go back because the next year is always better than the year before. And that mindset has definitely helped me. So number 7, this is more about society's messages. And again, the book is really trying to give you I'm trying to give you practical things out of the book, which this book isn't totally practical, but this is one thing I took out. But be careful about listening to society's messages about disease and aging. Don't let people label you. You may get labeled. Oh, you have ADD. Oh, you have depression. You have bipolar disorder. You're OCD. I think those things do exist, and I do think for some people that is a thing, and there's help out there. But be careful in listening to those labels, because deep down, if you're OCD, if you're obsessive compulsive, you might have an extravagant gift. You have the ability to really focus or do things a certain way. When I went to college, I worked with a man who I didn't work with. He was a colleague in my class. And he had this, again, I was a psychology major. So we were open talking about all the behavior science things. And he had this thing where he had to count the lights in every room he went in. And we would be in an auditorium and he would sit next to me and say, oh, there's 667 lights here and 4 of them are out. Every time, every single time. And it was just one of those things that he had to do. And then we were in one room that was really interesting. There weren't any lights, or there was like one main light. And then I did ask him, I was just curious. I was like, well, what do you do when there's just one light? And he said, oh, well, then if there's something interesting on the ceiling, like squares, some of the college campus, we had class in theaters, like really large theaters, would have squares on the ceiling. And he'd be like, oh, I'll count the squares. I was like, how many squares are there? He's like, 2,287. And I'm just, to be able to do that is genius. It's actually quite genius. And he's chosen to do it that way, or maybe that's kind of what he has that habit of doing. But think about what he could do if he focuses it in other places. It's a gift. So don't worry. If you get labeled by things, figure out how to use it to your advantage, because we all have some gifts. And I am not meaning to make light of any mental disorders that folks have, because it is a real thing for sure. And that is what I studied in college. But figure out how you can make that work for you, because there is a gift in all of these. Okay, so what's the one thing that every busy working mom needs to be healthy? So this is Activated You Morning Complete. I have tried this. This will probably, I think I've been doing this for 6 months. So my results have not been as amazing. There's a lot of advertising that goes into this, and there's a lot of reviews. I would say that this has improved my whole system. If you watch the ads, you're going to know what I mean when I say system. I want to be careful on what I'm talking about here. But this is supposed to help. It's like a green powder that you have every morning, and it is full of all kinds of good stuff. So we've got prebiotic, high fiber blend, green superfoods. There's supposed to be some metabolism enhancing things such as green tea extract, ginger root, turmeric, melon fruit extract. And then there's antioxidants in here and adaptogens. So we've got all kinds of, and there's probiotics. So this is supposed to be kind of your morning vegetables in a powder. And I'm a fan. It's, again, I would say it's improved my whole circulatory system 20%. I've heard others who have had massive increases, like 100% better. So it's worth a try. I've been doing it for 6 months. I'm going to continue. This flavor is apple cinnamon. It does not taste good. So here's what I do. I don't do things that don't taste good. I mix it with this spiced apple cider, which tastes really good. And this is full of a lot of crap. So you know what? I just mix the good with the bad, and then I'll drink it because it tastes fantastic. So I take one little of these packets, and then I mix it in with this. And then I dump a ton. I love cinnamon. This is from Costco. I will dump a ton of cinnamon in there, and I mix it up. And one other thing that I add that I'm just going to mention is I do add Flora Spring. This has increased my system 50%. This is good. I am going to tell you a warning. So these are probiotics, just so you know. It's supposed to improve your digestion, reduce your cravings, and promote fat burning. I wouldn't say that I've lost weight necessarily with this. However, my system, my, gut microbiota and the, bowel system, all of that has been immensely improved with this, more so than this. But I still continue with this because I like the greens and all of those things. So what I do, I don't like to take pills. I do not take pills. So I will actually open these. I do 3. I will open these up, put it in, mix it in. You can't taste this. I'm going to tell you one huge warning with this Flora Spring, if you're interested. They get your email, and it's so spammy. Really spammy. I get emails like 3 times a day. So use an email. When you sign up for this, use some sort of an email that you don't care about where they can send junk mail to. And I'm pleased with the product. I am not pleased with all the marketing that's come with this product. So just big warning on that. It feels very spammy. The marketing when you're buying the product, it's like click here and you can get 5 for it's just too much. However, I have continued to use this because it works. It's working for me and I'm pleased with the results. So that is my warning. I hope this was helpful and you have a lovely day.